Okay, great. Hello, people. Thanks for coming to this talk. Also, thank you, Nir and Kite, for coordinating and also inviting me to this talk. Also, thanks to University of California, Santa Barbara, DeFi-ECON seminar for this kind invitation. My name is Koray Caliskan. In Turkish, it's called Çalışkan. It's difficult to say it it has one of the most difficult letters in the West, so that's why I say Caliskan. I'm an economic sociologist, and I work on markets and economies and platforms. And I teach at New School, Parsons School of Design, in a program that brings together strategic design and social research. Today, I'm going to talk about how to imagine a new taxation and exchange platform regulation by focusing on US as an example. This is like probably the largest crypto economy in the world right now. We're going to start with platforms. I'm going to focus mostly on centralized platforms, not decentralized ones. Decentralized ones are still small, but they're going to be big. And we can also begin to talk about them during the discussion. I'm going to address this question with reference to an ethnographical study of a cryptocurrency exchange platform. These platforms are like Coinbase, Binance, Gemini, etc. And I will try to address the question how to regulate them. The literature on platforms started in industrial organization literature. The first platforms were not economic spaces. They were commodities. They were products. In 1992, Wheelwright called them a platform product, like a Walkman. I had a Walkman. Looking at Nir and Kite, I think they see Walkmans later in their lives. I saved for a Walkman. I didn't have enough money to buy the earphones, good earphones. So I bought a good Walkman, but bad earphones. This is the worst thing you could do in late 1980s, early 1990s. And it was a platform product because parts of it could be bought and sold, and then it could be changed. Later on, something very interesting happened. IBM changed its strategy. Instead of trying to compete with others to sell the same service, they opened their services as an infrastructural platform so that others can compete on it, much like Amazon opens it to other booksellers so that they compete on Amazon and Amazon gets a cut. In 2000s, a new understanding of platform began to pick up in management studies, economics, and legal scholarship. The first argument came in 2001 by Koray and Julien, cybermediary argument. They called it a cybermediary. As you can say, I can't even say it, and not because I'm Turkish, but it's very difficult to say it in any language. It didn't pick up. So be very careful when you are proposing a new concept. The second argument came in 2003, almost simultaneously with Rocher and Tirol. They argued it's a platform to be a new marketplace. Not very convincing, right? There's something new, you don't understand it, and then you just called it, oh, it's the new version of the old thing, the market. Rocher and Tirol seems to be winning the argument right now. Everyone is referring to platforms as multi-sided markets, but I think they're wrong. They're wrong for a number of reasons. We're going to come to that, because they are focusing only one stack of an economization relationship and present it to be the defining characteristics. Thus, they also confuse regulators, scientists, and the public. How do regulators approach it? It's also very confusing. It's a too wide topic. it's very difficult to try to understand Amazon, Uber, and say Coinbase at the same time. So we're going to focus on it a little bit by looking at an empirical case. And this case is a cryptocurrency market. When we look at platforms like cryptocurrency platforms, we see that they are multi-purpose exchange platforms. First, there are many markets in a single exchange platform. We see the market as exchange, market as company, market as infrastructure, market as mint vault accounting system. So as you know, when you print money, you can't be called a market, right? When you lend money, you can't be called a market. When you do legal services, it's not a market. So even trying to see what's going on in a platform prevents us from calling it a market. Then platform needs to be defined, not with reference to an idea of a market, but something else. What is this? We did some design research about studying markets and how they are made. And two designers, Johnson and Stobierski, won a design competition with this visualization. This is one way to visualize how an exchange platform works. First, you have an infrastructure, and this is an exchange platform. Then comes architectures of economization on it, like arbitration, banking, software development and sales, barter relations and gift relations, and also the market. What happens on these? Let's take a look at banks. A platform as a bank lends money, provides vault services, security services, provides wallet services, and also mints money, makes their own money. A platform as a barter economization stack would propose different ways of bartering whatever you have. A data money against data money. We don't use buy and sell because we still use fiat currency for exchange purposes. Cryptocurrencies are not used to buy and sell anything except very minuscule part of economies, but other cryptocurrencies. There is also gifting relationships like airdrops, use my market and I'm going to give you $200 and etc. There's a market relationship. You can buy Ethereum, Bitcoin, AVAX, DOT, many other things on them. There is a arbitration relationship where they can sanction you, they can discipline you, they can throw you away. When there's a problem, they can mediate.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I guess that, when you go deep to definitions, it's a lot of philosophy, what some people define as platform and what we define as platform. So I think that in economics, most of the time when we think about platform, it's go back to what you said before. It's more about thinking about market or like Amazon is a platform. Coinbase is a platform that you can exchange cryptocurrencies. But how you think about it, like in sense of like it's very different across discipline, right? I guess that in computer science, platform can be a TikTok. So what your takeaway about it?
I'm Nir. That's a very good question. I'm coming to this, and I'm going to define a platform in a new way, which can be used by everyone, which does not prioritize whatever we see in a platform, like a market, like network effect. Just bear with me. But in order to be able to define that, let's take a look at what a cryptocurrency is. For many people, it's digital cash, electronic currency, a crypto asset, or virtual money. Legal scholars seem also try to tell us, describe an elephant in the dark. For them, a cryptocurrency is money and not money, fiat currency and not a fiat currency, or a pseudo currency. You may think that these are scholarly discussions and it's okay to be disagreements, and it is okay to be disagreements. Let's look at government bodies like Securities and Exchange Commission. If there's an ICO, they think that it's a security. But ICOs are gone. I mean, they used to be big, but now they're like minuscule. For Commodities Future Trading Commission, it's a commodity if future trading is carried out. But what if there's no future trading carried out in a platform? For IRS, it's a property. Only if it's transferred to United States dollar, US fiat currency. So what if you don't transfer it? What if there's no future trading? And what if there's no ICO, which is the case right now? Public, with its elected bodies and bureaucracies, cannot see what's going on. Then we got a problem. How then to approach cryptocurrency and their markets and platforms? I think I figured out a way that works that addresses these problems in a new way. This way invites us to look at the materiality of the exchange object. So I'm thinking much like an economist here. Where is the material things? Where is the surface? And two, like analyzing a market, we got to analyze economic relations on a platform. Let's see what we're going to see if we do that. If cryptocurrency exchange platforms are simultaneously devices, places, technologies, markets, companies, spaces of encounter, then how are we going to describe them? They are framed by a dynamic socio-technical agencement or assemblage. It's very difficult to remember what an assemblage is. We're going to come to an easier concept for this. However, if we approach it that way, we got a problem, because take Chicago Board of Trade, they can be seen as a platform. Many of them are owned and operated by companies. They produce data and sell it. They are devices, places, technologies according to A, B, C, D. There's nothing new here. So we got to focus on the novelty of what's going on there. First novelty, blockchain. When people say miners, they are not mining anything. You all know that. What are they doing? They're accounting. So blockchain is actually an accounting mechanism on a distributed ledger. This is a new material service. Krugman, the Nobel laureate in economics from CUNY, is wrong. He thinks that it's just dirt, nothing material, nothing real happening is there. There is a lot of material things happening there. Why is this possible? Because of the materiality of the money that we're producing. I showed that a new book is coming out from Columbia in July. It's called Data Money. I showed that what we exchange when we exchange cryptocurrencies is not a passive, code in a computer. Your cryptocurrency cannot sit here on a computer or on a cell phone. A lot of people think that, that's it, digital cash. No, dollar is digital too. Oh, it's digital currency. Dollar is too. So what is it? What is it that we change? We exchange the right to send data. When I send one AVAX to Nir, I'm sending him the right to send this AVAX to someone else, for instance, Kite. This is what you have when you have a cryptocurrency, and it has to be registered on a blockchain or kept it in an exchange. When we look at these platforms, then we also see that they can also make their own monies, and they have a variety of network effects like data production, valuation, and networking incomes. When you look at this economic universe, we see that it's a new mode of economization. There are various modes of economization. Yes, Nick.
Sorry. So I think it was a good point. Maybe it's worth to explain why it's different when I'm sending Kite money via bank, why it's different than sending data.
Okay, that's very good. Let's imagine two examples. I am going to send this to you. If you were here, I would give it to you. Now you're located below my picture. You could have taken it, right? And then you have the paper. The material of this money determines how we exchange it, right? When you own it, it's very difficult to and expensive to imitate this, okay? But you can imitate the digital money all the time, right? What you need to do is that prevent it. Blockchain prevents it. That's why we first exchange right to send in terms of data and then register it somewhere else. This is new. The second novelty about bank is that you can send me your routing number or IBAN if it's in Europe. And then I can tell my bank to change the place of this money in their box from me to you, all right? And you have it. In reality, if there's a problem, how are we going to solve? We're going to go to judge, we're going to go to a court. And then they need to send material money among each other. With data money, you don't have to do that. What banks use as fiat is the digital representation of paper and metal money. A cryptocurrency is not a digital representation of anything. It is money itself, but it's a different kind of money. It's data money. Without understanding this very important material uniqueness of cryptocurrencies, we cannot understand what they are, how they're accounted for, how they are exchanged, how to regulate them and tax them. Let's go back to our illustration. Because of this data materiality, data is material. A lot of people think that, oh, digital things are not material. They are material. You can't touch them. They are intangible yet material. This digital materiality of cryptocurrencies provide those exchange platforms with numerous economization processes. They are stacked in an exchange platform. What is stack economization? First, let's imagine the main divide here. Right now, economies are studied in two ways. Traditional old way of understanding the economy is maintained by the economists. They think that there's something called the economy as a system that they can measure. The second school of thought does not approach economic relations as if they have an objective systemic reality. They approach them with reference to their actor network considerations as a process. If you're a woman, economies are different than you're a man. There is nothing like moon out there objectively that is the same, regardless of how we look at it or approach it. As you know, most economists are white, most economies are men, so they also insert this specific anthropological choice they make to how we see the economies. Right now, many advanced researchers do not share economists' approach to the economy. How do they understand the market? They think that there's something called supply and a demand, and then they imagine them to cross on price. It's empirically wrong and also tautological to imagine a market that way. If I'm trained in futures and options, and the first thing that you learn is to forget about this orthodoxy and then think about a market as a process. So stack economization shows us that platforms are replacing markets in today's economies. I'm saying it again. Markets, as we knew them, are being displaced by platforms. So we cannot drag an old understanding, neoclassical understanding of the market, which did not work to understand money markets, banking markets, oil markets, cotton markets. I'm an expert of commodities. I traded commodities. I wrote a book about them. You cannot understand neoclassical markets by looking neoclassical economics. And now Roche and Tirol are dragging a corpse, a theoretical corpse, this time to misunderstand platforms. That's what I empirically showed. How are we going to understand them? Let's imagine them as stack. This is how computer scientists would approach a data set. Stacking, which comes from kitchen, stacking of plates, is data layers, placing of data layers vertically like plates in a kitchen. Much like that. Here you also see stacked economic relations. So a stack is a new arrangement of multiple layers of representations in computer science. In this way, one layer supplies an ancillary, supporting ground for another to stand on, while at the same time building a coherent framework of interoperation. So platforms can be approached as the stack economization relations. Why? Actors qualified as economic. It's a process. They use econometric modeling in pricing and market making. So we can see performativity of economics in this relationship. We have to study economists to understand platforms. I'm saying it again. Economists are building platforms, not only studying them. So we have to study their practice too. And data money exchanges, as we saw, draw on various economization processes: barter, marketization, valuation, minting, assetization, etc. And no one challenges that. Nevertheless, we are told that, oh, to understand all of these, you think it as a multi-sided market. It's not. A, it's not a market. B, it's not multi-sided. You cannot approach a market from sides. You need to approach markets from within the relationships. Okay, so then we can ask, should we think about limiting stacking in platforms, and how? Should minting be allowed if you're operating a market? Can you also have your own money? If you are operating a cryptocurrency platform, can you trade? Can you imagine like someone like, Chicago Board of Trade also has a trading house and trading in its own market? It's impossible. You can't do it. It's conflicting interest. Can they carry out information gathering? Which means when as you know, traders usually give orders, stop loss orders, and many orders that is going to be executed in the future if something happens. For instance, I gave an order to buy AVAX if it goes down to 10, sell if it goes up to 100, all right? And the market knows that. Can they know this? What kind of a blockchain type are they going to operate? Right now, my research showed that last year, 90% of Bitcoin was not registered on blockchain and was kept, traded Bitcoin in the world, was kept as a custodial asset in a platform. What kind of digital security considerations do they have? Like we saw in FTX, which seems like they took people's money without them knowing about it and then converted it to other things and then traded it in somewhere else. You cannot do this in any other. For instance, a bank can do it, but if something happens to this bank, government takes care of the debt, all right? What kind of blockchain are they registering? Are they really registering? How do we know that? Can they register by themselves? And finally, how can we think about a central bank pegging in a cryptocurrency? Luna, you know what happened? Lunatics, what happened to Lunatics or Tether? Is this allowed? Should that be allowed? We are asking these questions only with reference to a stacked economization approach. You cannot ask these questions and analyze them separately in an understanding of a multi-sided market. And because of this lack of understanding, we see that crypto economies are under-regulated. Competition law is not enough because competition is not between platform owner and user. So we can't use it without changing things. Corporate law is not enough because crypto money is not recognized unless it's transferred to fiat currency. What you have as Bitcoin is not visible to IRS unless you make it US dollar. For tax law, it does not understand it as data money. They analogically understand it as short or long-term capital gain if you sell your cryptocurrency before 366 days before after you buy it. It's a long-term capital gain. If it's before, it's a short-term capital gain. Then we need to imagine new instruments and a new approach. You can take a look at this, get this QR code to reach it at the article that I published in Journal of, what was it again? I'm just blocking the journal's name. You can just reach out the article there. It's free access, golden access. So what kind of economic instruments can we imagine with this perspective? First, we can think about a data money tax. Right now, we are taxing income only with the money materiality of that income, which means we're taxing metal monies and paper monies if other assets become a paper or metal money. But cryptocurrency is a different kind of money. Why do we wait until we turn it into fiat currency? Why not we deal with a data money tax? Imagine if in 2021, the US government, IRS, had taxed crypto incomes with reference to the crypto gains people made. Imagine you have 100 units of crypto and then you have 110 units of crypto. You have 10 excess, right? That's an income. You can tax that. They can't tax it right now because they don't have a data money tax. However, we got a problem. Why? Imagine we're living in 13th century and Kubilai Khan is using paper money, this, all right? And in Europe, people do not see what this is, and then they are using only metal money. And then Kubilai Khan already started taxing people with paper money, and then some people said, I don't take paper money, I take only metal money. Are you kidding? Why? You're going to increase public's income. So you're going to tax money with the money it is made. But there's a problem. You may ask, how are we going to do this? There's a solution for that. I don't think any stable coin that is created to imitate fiat currencies could be produced by companies or individuals. Why? This is like, you are using dollars' power without bearing the cost of maintaining this power. I think they are just forgeries. They are building on a data money invention at a time when central banks do not have data monies. Of course, they are going to imitate. If you don't create your own money, someone is going to create the money drawing on your power. So we need to produce central bank data monies. Federal Reserve should have a USD data money instead of other stable coins imitating them. If we do this, then it will be possible to have a pegged data money that can be used as a constant vis-a-vis the oscillating values of a variety of cryptocurrencies. Now we have more than 12,000. We need a pegging device there. And I believe central banks are going to come that, but they have to wake up to the new materiality of money before this happens. We need to destack platforms or restack them or limit their stacking. To be able to regulate them that way, we need to understand their stacks. You cannot understand stacks if we keep approaching them as multi-sided markets. For instance, we can ask, why do Google can get like 50% of world, digital advertisement revenue? Is this possible? All right. How do they see it? Or we can just ask, say, Binance to come clear about their regulatory framework. Coinbase is clear, it's publicly traded, regulators can see what's going on. But for Binance US, it's clear, but other entities, it's not. And because it's infinitely easier to transfer money now, it's very difficult to follow those monies if you do not have a central bank data money. Finally, new tax events should be imagined. Crypto assets should be taxed without the need for actors to cash them because they are money anyway. So a lot of regulators think that, but you have to turn your money into money in order to tax it. It's like, it's money already. So we can imagine a data money gain tax, which is different than metal money and paper money taxes. I believe this is not a technical question, but a political question. I believe it is not a social scientific question either. It is a political question the public has to start. But we should first develop new concepts in order to understand, regulate, and tax novelties. We cannot keep dragging old and obsolete concepts like the market, the economy to understand digitalization of economic relations.